everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I am a geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek. It is now November and thank you so much to every single person who has both watched any of my videos, who has commented on my videos. Thank you to all the extra new subscribers I got. I think from memory it was around about 85 or so that I got throughout the month of October, so much love to you. I'm nearly at 750 subscribers, so yeah, my journey is just transcending as it always is, and just much love to you, each and every single one of you. Now, this of course is that time of the month where I do a roundup of all the comments that you guys have left on all of my videos over the last month. It was my busiest month, where I released 50 videos in the month of October. It was a very jam-packed month, and to celebrate that 50 videos, I am basically responding to 50 comments from you guys in today's episode. So strap yourselves in, make sure you got a drink and some snacks, and let's dive into your comments. Scottish FM says Scotch pie is ground pork with spices. I wasn't alive during the 1966 World Cup, but we still hate you English for it. Every time there is a World Cup on, all the build up before matches is 66 this, 66 that, and it just pisses us off. You know what? I can completely understand that. I can understand how that would piss people off. Yes, as an Englishman, I am proud to say that we have won a World Cup, but also it is, it is what, 60 odd years ago, and I would much rather see the current generation win a title than always harping on about the 1966 World Cup. But speaking of that team, rest in peace, Sir Bobby Charlton. Mr. Owl says Scotch pie is thin and crispy pastry with minced button / lamb and white pepper. Slightly interesting different meats there. Maybe that's a different region of Scotland, quite possibly. But I always ruin comedy with reality. 40 years would have been social money from before decimalisation, then however many note changes across the years. Could he have spent it? That refers to the episode Still Game featuring Sylvester McCoy. To be honest, Mr. L, I'm exactly like you. I'm the kind of person who ruins stuff by using my logical brain and overthinking stuff, and ultimately, there's nothing wrong with that, But, yeah, he probably wouldn't have been able to spend it now you're thinking about it. Jamie says, love the responses to the comments. I'd keep doing it for as long as you can see as every month is getting busier with more videos and subscribers. It's going to be difficult to keep up, but this personal touch is really a bonus. No doubt your channel will continue to grow as the content is great. Thank you. I love all the lovely, kind feedback. Most comments I get is lovely, nice, kind feedback, or kind of discussing stuff that's happened. There's been the odd occasional negative one, but that only comes with the territory, to be perfectly honest with you, and I don't let anything like that bother me. But you know what, I will continue to try and do this, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here creating these videos if it wasn't for you guys. Doing stuff that you enjoy is what keeps me going, and ultimately, I can only do great content as long as you guys keep loving it, keep subscribing, keep suggesting stuff, because I know of loads of stuff that I could react to, but I want to get your suggestions, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones watching it, I'm just reacting to it, so keep up your suggestions. Fairy Doom says The Office is definitely a grower. I think once you're invested in the characters, you will enjoy it more. David Brent is a strange character and goes through so many different reactions to him. He's infuriating and embarrassing, but ultimately I kind of feel sorry for him. He's just so desperate to be liked. I love the quiet cringe of this show. The awkward shots of the office workers feel so real. And you know what? I completely get what you're saying. The Office, which, first of all, it feels like honestly so long ago that I reacted to that, because I recorded it kind of in advance, maybe about 2 weeks ago. So it was probably about 6 weeks ago that I actually recorded my reaction to The Office, and of course edited it and everything. So yeah, my recollections from it is, it's definitely one that I could see I could potentially like, but at the moment it's too cringy for my likeness, if that makes any sense. like a friend of mine who he just kind of tunes in and out with my content. He watched this one and he said ultimately he had to turn off this reaction to it because he didn't like, you know, my reaction to it, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I don't mind if people turn off my content because I'm not going to react to everything in the way that you would hope for me to react to it. But that's the joys of reactions. It is something that is live, that it's true to me, and I'm reacting to it in the way that is honest to myself, and I would be a hypocrite if I tried to force myself to like something that I don't necessarily like. But maybe, like I said, I'm maybe going to try another episode. Maybe it might kind of grow on me. We'll have to see. Gazkira says, I don't know if it's just my phone, there's a visual glitch towards the end. That related to my not going out Series 1, Episode 1 reaction, and to be honest, it's something that because I originally uploaded this episode, you know, back in sort of June time, then I've re-uploaded it to, you know, to go with the new place that I'm now putting the content that I can't get onto YouTube or Dailymotion. And I didn't check anything because I literally still had the file, so I literally uploaded it and just put it in, you know, up onto Google Drive. And yeah, it just sort of kind of glitched out. I don't know what happened with it, so apologies for that. I don't have the raw files anymore, so I can't like try and recreate it, unfortunately, without completely re-recording everything. Now, what I have noticed, you know, since this comment kind of came in, I've been checking a lot of my different content, and I don't know what's happening, but just ever so frequently recently, I'll get it, and then there'll be like a moment that is either me and my footage kind of freezes, or the footage of whatever I'm watching kind of freezes, and that happens during the editing process. I don't know how or why that happens, but I am now checking every video once I've exported it and it's ready, you know, it's created as a complete file. I'm checking it, and if I see these glitches, I am then basically re-exporting it to try and avoid this kind of thing from happening again. Mr. Stu Few says, I remember when Are You Dave Gorman first went out and the announcer said what the premise of the show was. I thought to myself, how the hell can that even be remotely interesting, let alone funny? But I watched it and I was hooked. For the same reasons you said, Dave Gorman's such a good storyteller, he can make it pretty much anything interesting and entertaining. Also, it might be worth finding Dave Gorman's Google Whack adventure. So, Dave Gorman, Are You Dave Gorman? That's a video that really shocked me this month, I'm not going to lie. Because the majority of my videos that do well at the moment is Still Game and to an extent Benidorm. But I Dave Gorman just kind of trickled along in terms of its kind of viewer figures, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why, it just suddenly went sort of, it was about 40 or so, and then it just shot up to like 200-300, and I don't know what happened, I don't know how it blew up, but a lot of people have seen that. I think it's now around about the 700-800 kind of mark at the moment. So there's a lot of people that really seem to like this Dave Gorman content, and I can confirm there will be the second episode of Are You Dave Gorman coming out later this month. Dave Gorman's Google Whack Adventure is another one that people have kind of said he's particularly really good. That's just a one kind of 2-hour-ish thing, and that I'm going to do in January. That's going to be one of my early videos that I do in January. Living Lavu says, didn't Dave Gorman's mate come up with the idea to say yes to everything people asked him for a year, and then Hollywood makes a movie from his idea years later? Pretty sure that's correct. I looked it up after this comment came in, and yes, so Danny, who was the one who was doing all the filming for Dave Gorman in Are You Dave Gorman, he did write a book where he effectively did kind of say yes to everything for a year, and that's where apparently the inspiration for the Jim Carrey movie Yes Man came from. I don't think I ever saw that movie. If you think it's one I should check out, then you know, please do let me know. I don't think I saw that one. I could be completely wrong, but that's a really interesting tidbit. So thank you very much for letting me know that. Scott says, also been a Red Dwarf fan since the early 90s when I was around 13. I watched this when it came out, as in British Empire, when it came out later on. I love the talent that Chris Barrie has, able to do so many comedic roles, but very differently. Love his ability to do impressions too. Very talented man, and jealous you've met him. Great episode, great reaction, and great post-analysis. Thank you. always do stick around after my reactions to everything, so I always do a little bit of an analysis and a review kind of thing at the end of it. It appeals to some people, it doesn't appeal to others. But yeah, I do try and give my kind of general overall thoughts, and some things I will go into a little bit more analytical than others. I think Chris Barrie is fantastic at impressions. The one I've kind of heard him do the most is, I think it was Kenneth Williams for like the Carry On movies. It's like, oh, Matron, yes. Yeah, that kind of one. I'm not particularly good at impressions myself. I can do Kermit the Frog. I can do that. And I can do a little bit of David Attenborough. I can only really ever do them when I'm actually kind of reading something. I'm not very good at doing it, just kind of improvising it. So if I try and read this comment bit again, I'll do it as both. Kermit the Frog. Also, being a Red Dwarf fan since the early 90s, when I was around 13, I watched this when it first came out later on. There you go, there's my Kermit. and my David Attenborough. So yeah, I have to think about this, I have to get into the mode a little bit. Yes. I love the talent Chris Barrie has, able to do so many comedic roles, but very differently. Love his ability to do impressions too. Very talented man, and very jealous that you met him. There you go. You can let me know if you think they're any good or not. Kermit the Frog is the one I feel is the better one of the two. Jack said about the same episode of British Empire, the third episode of the third series, I like your analysis for this episode and Britis's reactions bubbling up. I can see why it's one of Chris Barrie's favourite episodes, and he gets to show another side of Britis, the meaner side he perhaps keeps suppressed, finally showing impatience at Colin and even going too far for Linda. I seem to remember talking about this show with you a few years back. You said you hadn't seen it but were planning to, so didn't want specific spoilers. Were you thinking of starting the channel even back then? So, with my YouTube, there's been certain kind of geeky TV shows or movies or even video games that I want to talk about, and I've thought about wanting to talk about for many years. Doctor Who being the big one. And ultimately, I think Children of Earth, the Torchwood third series, that's the first thing I ever thought I need to be able to talk about this, but no one I really ever knew was interested in that kind of thing. Not many people that could kind of go into in real great depths. And so it's just been one of those over the years. I just thought, maybe I could do something, but never really thought anything seriously of it. Then just last year, I just decided to do a bit of video game streaming because I was a bit bored, didn't really have much to do. And then as I was doing that, because that was all live streaming from the PlayStation, I then thought, could I maybe be able to record videos using my phone? Because I don't have any amazing camera equipment. I literally have my mobile phone, which is what I use to record everything. I have a light, which I bought last year for like 20 quid. It's just one of them ring lights, and I've literally edited everything pretty much on my phone up until maybe this summer when a good friend of mine, Paul, shout out to you, Paul, he gifted me a PC. He was building his own PC, and he sort of built me this one. It was a very basic thing, but just something to kind of use. And I've now been, a lot of my stuff gets edited on the computer. But yeah, I don't have fancy equipment or anything, and it just kind of happened. I just thought, I've done some streaming. Maybe I'll do a bit of talking about Doctor Who. Then it kind of snowballed. I was able to talk about Ted Lasso earlier this year, which I absolutely loved. Because I had so much to say about that. And I was doing obviously reactions to the third series. That then kind of naturally kind of evolved into maybe there's some other things I could react to that I've heard good things about. And here we are now, pretty much a year later. By the end of this month, it will be a full year since I started doing videos rather than just streaming from the PlayStation. So no, I wasn't. That's a long roundabout way of saying no. I wasn't thinking about doing a YouTube back then, but it's just them for me wanting to talk about stuff. Anita says, I'm trying to give up smoking, not going well. Well, hang tough. Giving up smoking is definitely one of the hardest things that someone can do. It's something that I've wanted to do for a very long period of time. I've sort of transitioned onto vaping more so than actual smoking, and I don't think I've had an actual cigarette for a good year at least. But it's something I would like to give up. And it's all well and good people who are not smokers to say, oh, you should just quit. Oh, you just don't need to light up, or you don't want to have a vape. You just go without. It's tough. So I feel for you, Anita, and my heart goes with you. I really hope that you manage to succeed in your goals. James says about the Series 3 finale of Still Game, I'm sure I read somewhere that this episode encouraged a lot of people to pick up the phone and call home after the episode. I can understand that. And I do feel that as people get older, they obviously need their family or their children less. However, you need to maintain contact with them. You need to make sure that you're speaking with them on a regular basis, because in all honesty, it is something that makes a huge difference. You could just be having the absolutely worst day. I've had them over the last couple of years, and it'll be one of those days I'll nip over to the town where my mum lives, and I'll think, you know what, I'm just going to pop in for a cup of tea. I don't talk about what's been bothering me, but just being there, having a cup of tea and just having a random natter, it makes a lot of things a lot better. So definitely, if you don't do it regularly, please call your parents or please call your children. Kat Sakira thought the Series 2 finale of Benidorm was a great episode and the punch was so funny. For me, it wasn't the punch that was, when Mick punched Mel. That wasn't the bit that was the funniest moment. It was the way that Mel fell down. Jeffrey Hutchins, I think it's Jeffrey Hutchins who plays Mel. It was just just the way he fell. It was hilarious. I was wetting myself. It was that funny. It was seriously, don't mean to great graphic, but I was this close to a little bit of pee coming out. Alex says, if you're doing a deep dive into Dave Gorman's work, put on your list Dave Gorman's Important Astrology Experiment, a 6-part series he did in 2002. It's on YouTube somewhere. Thank you so much for the suggestion. So, my plans for Dave Gorman moving forward, like I kind of mentioned earlier, the second episode of I, Dave Gorman is going to be coming out later on this month, on, I think it's the 22nd of November, the day before my birthday, in actual fact. Because, it was one of those I was kind of going to do, and I was kind of going to get back to at some point, but the amount of people that's watched that that episode, made me think, I've got to watch more. I don't like to really go with things for getting views or anything. I watch stuff, if I'm going to watch a second episode, it's because I'm enjoying it. And ultimately, I really enjoyed Are You Dave Gorman? So I'm going to keep watching it. It is, I think, most likely going to be a monthly series. I'll probably do one episode each month moving forward. So the third episode, of course, for next month being Christmas month, the third episode will be in January of 2024. And I may do this astrology one at the same time and just have basically 2 Dave Gormans in a month. Or maybe I'll do it separately and, complete Are You Dave Gorman and then move on to the astrology one. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I am definitely planning on doing more of Modern Life is Goodish because I really enjoyed that. And like I mentioned earlier, the Google Whack adventure, that is going to be coming out at the start of January as well. So stay tuned for a lot more Dave Gorman content because I think it's awesome. Tag Team Champion said about Modern Life is Goodish, most comedians have about 5 or 6 hours of comedy in an entire career, but Dave has that in each series of Modern Life is Goodish. So many topics covered and so much hard work put into every slide. You should watch them all. Well, like I said, I am planning on watching more Modern Life is Goodish, so stay tuned. Jack says, great review and reaction to Not Going Out. Mental health struggles freaking suck, so good on you for talking so openly and publicly about it, and congratulations on the health kick. So, I make no secret, and I've said it before on the channel, that I have had difficult times over the last couple of years with work and things, and I'm in a much better place than I have been for a very, very long time. In regards to the kind of being open about it, I feel that mental health, or rather, let me rephrase that, poor and negative mental health has a stigma attached to it, and I feel, especially with men, more people should be able to open up. I understand that it's not easy, and I didn't open up at the time, and maybe that's why I'm so much more comfortable opening up now. I'm kind of a bit more over it, because I'm able to look back on those times and think, okay, yes, they were some dark times, but I've come out of it a much better person. And that, I think the health kick, that has played a part in it. So if you haven't seen some of my earliest videos on the channel, I'm going to put up a little thing here in the corner from one of my first ever videos that I made. We're talking about a year ago. Since February of this year, I joined Slimming World, and at the time of me recording this, I have lost approximately 2.5 stone. Quite possible that I've lost a bit more since the November of last year when I first recorded the videos. But yeah, there's a night and day difference between, especially when you look at my face in comparison. So yeah, I'm very proud of the progress I've made, but the real task is keeping it off. But my current aim is to try and get to a 3 stone loss by Christmas. Oops, excuse me. And for my friend's wedding next year, I would also like it if I get to a 4 stone loss. So that would put me in the ballpark of around about 13 stone kind of weight, which I think I would be reasonably happy with. Pedro Garcia said after watching the Vicar of Dibley USA remake, he says, if you want to watch some more awful US remakes of UK shows, you should check out The Inbetweeners US, Us and Them, which is a remake of Gavin and Stacey, Amanda's, a remake of Fawlty Towers, The IT Crowd USA, which also stars Richard Ayoade, and The Kings of... I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Is that Van Nuys? Kings of Van Nuys? No, Kings of Van Nuys. I've heard that well, Van Nuys. That's it, Van Nuys. Yeah, Van Nuys. It's I think is it a region of like New York or something? So The King of Van Nuys, and that's apparently a remake of Only Fools and Horses. So with those, I have to get into a little bit. So Gavin and Stacey, Fawlty Towers, and The IT Crowd, all of those I have watched. I love Gavin and Stacey, love Fawlty Towers, and I love The IT Crowd. All of them, I think they're absolutely fantastic. Have never seen any of their US remakes. That may be something I do on the channel. For the Inbetweeners and the Only Fools and Horses one, I kind of have to see them in order to be able to really react to the American remakes first. Now, Only Fools and Horses, I can confirm the entire first series will be coming out later this month on one day. That one day I will release one video and there'll be the links to all 6 episodes for the first series. But mostly I've done that, so in December I will be able to react to the first ever Christmas special, which came after the first series of Only Fools and Horses. That's a show that I have seen a handful of episodes of. It's not something that I have seen much of. It's a show though that I know quite a bit about because it is a cultural icon here in the UK. So I know of Rodney, Del, Grandad, Uncle Albert, Boise, Trigger, I nearly said Del Boy again. All those different kind of characters. I know of them, but I just don't really know much about the show at large. I could probably say maybe less than 10 episodes of the entire thing that I've seen. None of which of the first series or the first Christmas episode I have seen. So you need to stay tuned for that. The Inbetweeners, I only ever saw the first movie. I know that there was the 3 series, then there was 2 movies. I watched the first movie at the cinema with a girl who I was sort of dating at the time that came out. Didn't know anything about it, so I had no context to it. And I've never gone and watched the second movie, and I've never seen any of the original TV show of The Inbetweeners. If that is something you would like to see, let me know. But for both of those, I can't really see the American remakes until I've seen the shows. The Moose on the Flag of Maine. 2 episodes of Taskmaster. I feel blessed. I love this series, i.e. Series 4. Mel and Lolly are sweet. Bake Off is alright, but probably won't make for a great reaction. Alex has actually been on the celebrity version though, so I suggest watching that if you want some out of character but equally awkward Alex. Maybe I'll check that out at some point. At the time of me airing this video, I have completed all of Series 4. The most recent episode came out last Thursday. And if you didn't see that, you need to see that, because I was again pretty much wetting myself with laughter. It was that good. It was seriously brilliant. I love Series 4. I have recorded my first 2 episodes for Series 5, which are coming out this Thursday, I think it is. So stay tuned for more Taskmaster. Kazakira says, a really fun episode of the British Empire, but important notice, my notifications are broken, so if I do not see or reply to a reply, I am not being rude. Kazakira, do not ever apologise. Do not ever think you're being rude if you don't comment, or you don't like something, or you don't reply to something. Honestly, there is nothing, to apologise for. I've been there. I forget to reply to people all the time. I don't mean to do it. It's just one of those things that happen. So do not ever apologise for that. Emily said from the episode of Death in Paradise, the 4th episode, I've seen a show where the shooter you saw had a blank or unloaded, and someone off screen who did the shot. I wonder if that happened here. I was a bit confused with the grammar there, but I got the gist of what you were saying there. Have you reacted to Bill Burr, No Reason to Hit a Woman? I was going to add basic what he said, but unsure if you want to react to it in the future. It's great what he says. I don't think I've ever heard of Bill Burr. I don't know what is he? Is he like a politician, an activist, a comedian? Let me know. Maybe I can add that to the list, and maybe I'll check that out in the future. From Still Game Series 4, Episode 1, Ami Gaga Gima. I may have butchered that, but I probably have butchered that. The Ned always seemed like 2 different people to me. In the episodes he's been in before this one, he's a right little arsehole, spraying paint in them and whatnot. But in this episode, he seems to be a decent young guy that Jack and Victor know and care for a little bit. See, I noticed for the first time that they seemed different in the Sylvester McCoy episode, where he went up to them and he was kind of polite and respectable to Archie. And brought him a Big Mac meal and everything. I just thought, he seems different. I don't know what it is. And you know what? I like what they've done there with that. Because ultimately people change. I am a completely different person to who I was when I was sort of 18, 19. I was a little arsehole at times. I was a jerk at times. I'm never going to shy away from that. I'm pretty sure that most of us probably were at some point in our lives. Does that mean that we deserve to be labelled as arseholes for the rest of our lives? No, absolutely not. If you continue to be an arsehole, then yes, you deserve to continue being called an arsehole, but everyone has the chance and the right to grow and evolve and develop as a person. But if you don't take that opportunity, then yes, you will remain an arsehole. Andy said from the Benidorm special episode, Kevin, No Country for Old Men looked like the killer. I think I'm guessing what you're referring to is the guy who played the killer in that looked like someone who was in No Country for Old Men. I think that's what you've been saying. That is a movie that I have never seen, but I own the DVD of it, and I have owned that DVD since I was at university, approximately about 14 years ago. I think I bought that DVD, and I've still never seen it. I think I need to watch that movie. And you know what? Maybe the time next year's Oscars come around, maybe I'll do it to kind of tie in around that, because I know it won Best Picture, but yeah, I need to see that movie. Baby Cakes, oh my gosh, one of my recommendations. Thank you so much. Yeah, you recommended The Smoking Room to me, and I freaking loved it. I mean, admittedly, having Jeremy Swift, who played Higgins from Ted Lasso, that was a major benefit for me. I was not expecting that at all, and I freaking loved it. If you have seen The Smoking Room but you've never seen Ted Lasso, But actually no, if you've never seen Ted Lasso, please go and watch it. It is honestly one of the best things I've ever seen, hands down, in my personal opinion. Yeah, thank you for suggesting it. I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to watch a second episode at some point. And keep making suggestions, because without suggestions for you guys, I may run out of things to watch. Luna says, the smoking room surprised me. I didn't think a show with this premise could be entertaining, but once again, you've proved me wrong. More, please. Yeah, again, people want more of this kind of stuff. And it's because of you guys giving your suggestions, I can come across things that I'd never heard of this show. But I love the very simple concept of it. And of course, it's not something that you're going to see in today's society. It's not going to be something that they're not going to make a show like this realistically, because you don't have smoking rooms anymore because of the smoking bans. I mean, maybe if they legalise indoor smoking again, which I don't think they should, but if they do, then maybe a show like this could come back. But maybe the smoking shelter, that could be, maybe they'll do a spin-off of this show, 20 years down the line or something like that, and they'll go, yeah, we can't go into a room anymore, but we can at least stand outside in a shelter. John Lewis, you wanted a cheese pun? Well, you gotta believe I'm not doing that. I've got better things to get Stilton with. Nice. Very nice. Karma Girl, you need to watch and do this entire series of the Stranger Things. It's so good. I am definitely at least going to watch the first series. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm definitely going to continue on with Stranger Things, because that first episode was freaking amazing. David says, nostalgia overload with this one for Goosebumps. Loved it as a kid and still love it as an adult. Great. That is the thing. I've gone back and watched stuff that I watched as a kid. Even kid shows I have gone back, because somehow it is about nostalgia, and you can think back to some of your simpler times, but also you can pick up on stuff that you didn't pick up on as a kid. Now, I've gone back and watched things like The Sooty Show, or Rosie and Jim, or Basil Brush, things that I watch and appreciated in one way as a kid, but then you see it in a very different way as an adult, and I love that. So Leighton has also commented about the Goosebumps episode. I remember reading the Goosebumps books as a kid in the 90s. I remember the TV series too. This is one of the books and episodes I vividly remember. I had this episode on VHS back then as well, and I brought it into primary school one time. We had a music room with a television in the corner of the room that we often watched films on. I was allowed to show my class this tape to everyone's delight, and I still remember the scared reactions of a couple of my female classmates. I think they would have preferred I brought something else in though. Yeah, maybe primary school. We were the same, especially on like the last day of term. There was, it was normally where you'd go in your mufti, in your ordinary clothes. You'd bring in board games or things that you could do, and there would typically be a TV, and people could bring in things, and whoever wanted to could watch it. For anyone who was a kid, in that sort of time period, the 80s or the 90s, especially from the UK, was there a greater feeling when the teacher would wheel in the TV? And I really mean wheel in, because I don't know if any of you guys would remember, but it was on like this massive wheelie trolley kind of thing, and it was obviously this huge TV that was like probably 5 times bigger than they are nowadays, and 10 times deeper as well. But you knew that the moment that the teacher wheeled in that telly, you were in for a great lesson. Does anyone else remember that, or was that just me? But Declan, let's get you to 1,000 subscribers. You know what? If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. It's an amazing journey, and even you guys, there's 750-ish that are subscribed to the channel. I love each and every single one of you, and I'm just happy to keep doing stuff that you guys enjoy. So this next comment was from the episode of Still Game, the one that was in the hospital. There was a number of comments that people didn't quite agree with my views on the ending of the episode. And just to reiterate, I loved that episode. It was just that very final scene that I just felt was out of place. It just didn't emotionally hit right for me. Liz says, thanks for another great reaction. I don't agree with you, however, about the end of the episode. Still Game reflects real life, and unfortunately this kind of thing happens. I think they mean... well, is that about people dying, or is that about people literally smashing up a DJ station? I'm not quite sure that. I was a nurse for a long time and came across a situation in which a man who was dying in intensive care had his wife sitting beside him. Problem was, he couldn't stand this woman and had formed a relationship of many years with another woman who was the mother of his children. The hospital rule was that only relatives were allowed to be with patients in intensive care, so the love of his life was left to sit and cry outside the ICU while he died with someone he disliked sitting next to him. For some reason he couldn't get a divorce. This happened several decades ago, and hopefully it wouldn't happen now, but still, game has its sad and realistic moments, and real life is not perfect. I 100% agree, and I do appreciate that there will be exceptions to the rule. You know, most people in theory would be with their loved ones when they die, but that may not always be the case. It was like, and then again, there was loads of people who were saying stuff like, it's just a comedy, get over it, you know. And I get that, I completely get that, and I'm not saying that it's not necessarily funny for some people. For me and my personal taste, I am a sucker for emotional stuff. That ending bit got me emotionally, and for me, it just took me out of that emotional moment for what to me feels a cheap gag. Not saying there's anything wrong with it just didn't appeal to me personally. If you guys disagree with me, that is absolutely fine. Joshua Ali, I can't wait for you to react to the next episode of Benidorm. In my opinion, Series 3 Episode 2 is the best. Well, that was the episode and the reaction that came out last week, and of course earlier on today I reacted to Series 3 Episode 3. And I tell you what, I have now completed all of my reactions for Benidorm Series 3. They're all recorded, they're all uploaded, they're ready to go live, they're all coming out by the end of this month. In my opinion, I think the entire series as a whole, there is no best episode. I think they're all so strong in their own individual rights. They will each have their own individual highlight moment, and for me personally, the episode coming out next week has probably one of my biggest and most excited reactions to Benidorm thus far, and you're going to have to wait till next week to find out what it is, or if obviously you've already seen the episode, you may have a guess what that may be. But I just love this show. I love that third series so much, and I cannot wait to see the Christmas episode next month. Oh! Kirsten says, Benidorm was my first holiday abroad 2 years ago and I fell in love with it. I've been dying to go back ever since. I stuck to the old town mainly, but I've been to Cafe B and Morgan's, i.e. Neptune's. I want to go back and do an all-inclusive at some point though. You know what? I've done a few travel stuff over the last couple of years. I've gone and done little city breaks and stuff. I'm finally going on an actual holiday again next year. I'm going with my sister and my nephew. But once I've completed my reactions to Benidorm, maybe I'll do like a little travel vlog kind of thing and go on a little mini break to Benidorm, and maybe I'll see some of the stuff that they've shown in the TV series. If you like the idea of that, let me know. Helen says you should watch the rest of Supernatural. There is only one bad episode and that's a long way off. As good as the pilot is, the rest just gets better and better. The Supernatural family is huge and welcoming and will boost your stats dramatically. You know, I'm not in this game to... well, it's not even a game, is it? I'm not in this YouTube thing to gain stats or gain popularity or anything like that. I, came in this to talk about things that I'm passionate about, and I react to things that I get suggested by and that I find enjoyable. If I don't enjoy something, there's no point in me continuing on with something just to boost my stats. I'm not going to be like that. I did enjoy Supernatural, and it's quite possible I may do another reaction. Like I said, when I did the reaction, it would take me 7 years to react to the entire thing if I did one episode a week. So I'd have to think very long and hard how I did that if I was going to do more of it. Maybe it's just one of those that I will end up watching in my spare time. I don't know, but I will see more Supernatural. Jane says Supernatural lasted 15 years. The first episode aired in September 2005. It has 15 series and it's the longest running sci-fi TV series in the US. You're right, there's a lot of Monster of the Week episodes, more in the first series and less after that. But there's one complicated storyline the last 5 series. This is a long one. There were 3 to 4 more storylines after that, but in later series, but the final arc in series 15 is about everything that's happened on the show by that point. It starts slowing in series 1, but then it gets more interesting with every episode and every piece of information becoming part of the big picture. Sam and Dean and their relationship are the focus of the show. It's interesting to watch the show and notice how the technology was changing. Their phones, for example, because one season of the show equals 1 year in real life. The film series 1 in 2005 and the events happened during the whole year. Series 2 is set in 2006, etc. That is an interesting point for shows that change over time. And probably for me, I think the biggest one I can relate to is Doctor Who, because I've been watching that for almost 20 years. You know, the revival happened in 2005. We're in 2023 now, and so that makes me feel old. First of all, that really makes me feel old. To say that I've been watching Doctor Who for nearly 20 years, yeah, that's craziness. But you know, I've been rewatching it as part of my kind of doing my reviews for it, and seeing the way that you see, like for example, like you said, the mobile phones. I see that in the first series and second and third series of Doctor Who. You know, Martha had a flip phone. Rose had like a Nokia phone. I just look at them and like, wow, how has time flown this much that fast? It's crazy. Baby Cake says, I am appreciating the fact that you take into consideration what viewers have requested, i.e. Stats Let's Flats. Thanks so much, dude. You are the best. No, you are the best. You guys are the best for keep giving me things to react to. Because, like I said, Stats Let's Flats, Modern Life is Goodish, Dave Gorman, all these different kind of things that I've been checking out that I've never heard of before. I'm absolutely loving them. And you guys, I think you're getting to that point where you've seen me enough that you probably know the kind of things I'm probably going to enjoy, and that's why you are suggesting the kind of things that you are. So keep up the suggestions. I can highly recommend you popping back to the pilot episode and watching all of The X-Files. It's an amazing series. Bad Blood, as you saw, is one of the comedic episodes, but the bulk of the show is sci-fi/horror-ish, with some darker episodes, and it covers all kinds of paranormal stuff, plus aliens, conspiracies, etc. The writing, acting, directing, the score, it's all brilliant. It led the way for so many other series that followed it. I'm a massive fan, and so I am a little bit biased, but the show won many awards and serves an active fandom for very good reasons. Try the first 3 episodes to give you a reasonable idea whether you're interested. You'll certainly get people watching your channel if you post reactions to the show. Again, I'm not doing this necessarily to gain viewers or anything like that. Obviously, it's nice and I do grow and more people do come and watch it. But that's not the reason I'm reacting to stuff. It's to find stuff that I enjoy. I enjoyed this. I would be definitely open to see more episodes of The X-Files, and I will take your suggestions of the first 3 episodes on board. Paul says, Ghost is one of the better shows for the last few years. Even the American version is decent. And that's a strange thing for me. I don't think that typically the UK shows that get American remakes typically do very well. Most of them are utter flops, as you kind of would have seen if you watched it, my reaction to The Vicar of Dibley US. But there will be those exceptions. Obviously, I know that The Office US became massive, arguably more massive than the original UK version. If you think the American version is decent, maybe at some point I'm gonna watch, react to that and maybe compare what they're like. So glad you enjoyed this episode of Ghost. It's such a comfort show. Every character is great in their own way, but the Captain and Robin are my favourites. They're so sweet. Would be over the moon if you continue this. You know what then, Moose? You will be very over the moon to learn that this coming week is my second reaction to Ghosts UK. So stay tuned. I think it's coming out on Friday if I remember correctly. Drax says, if you want to stay completely spoiler free, I'd avoid the British Empire's Christmas specials. They both have spoilers about what preceded, so yeah, just wait until you get to them. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I will not watch the British Empire then. Next month I will just continue watching British Empire and eventually get to the Christmas episodes when I get to them. Callum says, from what I remember from watching Inside Number 9 the first time and rewatching it now, Pip, who was pretending to be Ian, was sexually abused by the old man when he was a kid within the very room the episode takes place in. The siblings knew what their dad did but didn't say anything, and the old man got away scot-free. Pip, now returning as an adult and deciding to kill the man and the others that knew and helped cover it up. Yeah, I said that was fucked up. Inside number 9, it was weird because obviously it seemed like it was just an outright comedy, and then it just went very dark very much towards the end. And from what I understand, a lot of the show is like that, and they're all completely self-contained kind of episodes and characters and stuff, so you can watch them in absolutely any order. I would like to see more Inside number 9. If you think I should continue in order, or if you think there is a very particular episode that you think I should watch, let me know. Andy says, Kevin, please don't use God's name in vain. Refrain and say instead, if you have to, oh my gosh, then you're covered. I'm only telling you because the amount of people I knew pulled me up on it, made me see the error of my ways. A wise man learns the error of his ways, but a fool never learns. Okay, there always seems to be one slightly controversial comment that I end up reading in each month when I do these. And first of all, I would like to say that my channel is very much a community place. I respect everyone's opinions. I want everyone to be just kind, polite, respectful to one another. Some of the comments that replied to this comment, I felt have crossed the line a little bit. You know, please feel free to disagree with each other, but please do so in a kind and respectful way. That's all I ask. You know, I don't want, you know, outright negativity or trolling or anything like that on my channel. If I see that kind of stuff, you know, I will not be afraid to block people from the channel. I'm just letting it know that, because, you know, people can disagree with one another. There is nothing wrong with that. You know, I disagree with some of the comments you guys make. You guys disagree with some of the things I say. That's fine. You know, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but please just be respectful about it. Andy, for your comment, you know, I don't, you know, use the phrase "oh my god" in a religious way. It is just something that is a force of habit. It is something that, you know, is just part of my natural vocabulary. You know, I apologise if you feel that, you know, you are offended by it, or that you feel that I may be using it in vain or anything. I will admit I am not a religious person. I will never claim to be a religious person unless I did somehow find something that made me believe, but I very, very, very much doubt it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, I can try to change my vocabulary, but in reality, it's not something that is necessarily going to happen. And, you know, I take your comments and your feedback on board, but in reality, it's probably not going to happen, because the things with reactions is that it is live, it is unfiltered, it is me expressing my thoughts at that very specific moment in time. And a lot of the times, I don't have the time to think and say, I need to say, oh my gosh, instead of oh my god, or anything like that. It will just naturally come out, you know. So I will try and take what you say on board, but, you know, it probably won't really happen. I'm just saying it now. But Declan says, you need to react to the live show of Stone Game Buddy. Well, I can guarantee to you the first ever live show that was live at the Cotier Theatre will be coming out later this month, so stay tuned. Munchieman Dishes, brilliant Still Game and Line of Duty, my two favourite shows by far. It's brilliant watching them back with you. Thank you so much. The Series 2 of Line of Duty will be coming back in the new year, so stay tuned for that. Brett, Kevin, I loved your reaction to seeing the much missed Robbie Coltrane in this episode. So wholesome. These Sunday reactions are a highlight of my weekend. Thank you as ever. # legend. No, Brett, you are the legend. Just as every single person who watches my channel, you guys are the legends. I am just the voice of it. I love you guys. I love the fact that you look forward to my weekends or any of my content that comes out on the channel. Obviously, some of it is scheduled, some is not. Well, I mean, technically for me it is, because I have to have a master schedule. I've got all of November planned out. I had all of October. I really had to plan out October, with it being about 50 videos that I was doing. And I'm currently working on my Christmas month as well. So again, if you want to see anything that you think is Christmas related, whether it's a Christmas TV movie, rather well, whether it's a Christmas TV show or a Christmas movie, or whether it's a Christmas review of something, or just a Christmas game show or documentary or whatever, let me know, because I'm literally working on my schedule. I've got a couple of things that are definite that are going to happen, but everything else is up in the air, so let me know. Salman9592, 500 Miles is a banger. If I was at a karaoke in England and someone sang it, we would love it. And the Scottish accent is a must. I'm Scottish and even put on a strong accent. Sing it. That is just one of them songs. I don't really do accents, that much. I can do Welsh, okay, but Scottish, I actively try not to do it because I don't do it very well. But there's just something about I Would Walk 500 Miles that it just kind of comes out of you. And for me personally, I love that song, and I think it's fantastic. I would really like at some point to see Sunshine on Leith, which is a musical that is based on the music by the Proclaimers. I would love to see what they did with that. Because I don't really know much of the Proclaimers songs other than 500 Miles, but also as much as I don't typically like them because I think they're not very good, I like the idea of taking songs and trying to create a musical out of them, and I'm intrigued as to what they do with it, even if the majority of the time I don't actually like it. Anita says, envy you seeing Buffy for the first time. That's the thing with reactions, even though you will never be able to relive your first time watching something that you love, watching someone else see it for the first time, it allows you to relive it through them, essentially. And I watch a lot of reactors over the years for stuff that I enjoy, like Doctor Who, like Torchwood, for example. And I may watch an episode, watch someone reacting to a specific episode, and they love and they laugh at the same moments that I laughed at, they cry at the same moments that I cried at. That for me, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's how I felt at the time. So that's why I like reactions. Gaskira, when Martin stands up for himself in Benidorm, he is so funny. That is definitely true. Martin is such a weird and complex character. If you think it's funny so far, wait till you get to the last couple of episodes of Series 3. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. I am a Maniaint says, hell yeah, great reaction. This is my favourite film. I saw it as a child and it sparked a lifelong love of cinema in me. I'm glad that The Shining did that for you. It is a great movie. It, in my opinion, was directed really well. The music was really great in it. I think they did everything pretty much spot on. Anthony Roberts, well done Kevin on your first film reaction to The Shining. Kubrick intended the ending to be confusing and ambiguous. It speaks to the eternal nature of evil. There are a number of elements in the movie that don't add up, and they were intentionally done to further tweak our little brains into thinking that something's not quite right, that the supernatural does not abide by our laws. Kubrick wants us on edge and keeps piling on the tension and dread, and yes, that music, wow. I think that's supposed to be, he is a master filmmaker displaying all of his cinematic skills to show us what being trapped in a haunted hotel would feel like. To me, its greatest achievement is pulling us into that environment of fear and dread. The Shining is an immersive experience, and that's what made it a classic. You mentioned that the hotel felt like a character, and that's spot on. The camera is often watching the action, following the characters or leading them on. And when Jack finally takes up the axe, the hotel becomes fully alive again. It's almost gleeful. Great party, isn't it? And even when you can see the ghosts and the manifestations, it's a perfectly crafted film. Glad you enjoyed it. I'd be interested to know how many of you watched just my condensed version of the movie and how many of you watched the full-length reaction. Because I did include the link to the full-length reaction to that. And, yeah, Anthony, I agree with pretty much everything you say in there. It's just fantastic. And if you have any more suggestions of movies that you would like me to see, obviously I'll do a lot of TV shows, but if there's more movies that you would like to see me react to that you think I would enjoy, let me know. Callum says, as soon as I saw the thumbnail to The Shining, I just let out one massive joyful scream and a long series of claps. Well, I'm glad to know that's how you reacted when you saw the thumbnail and you knew that I was reacting to The Shining. What did you actually think of my reaction, Callum? Let me know. And the final comment that I'm going to be reading out in this episode, Rod says, great review, can't argue with your opinion of Top Gun. It was the same when I saw the first Terminator movie. Now, years later, I can appreciate it, but at the time, I thought it was overhyped. I get that. I definitely get that. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do love at least the first 2 Terminator movies. The third onwards, not so much. The second, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, that is, in my opinion, my favourite movie of all time. And that's probably one of the other things I've always said at some point I really want to talk about. And maybe I'll do that at some point in the future. But, yeah, I completely understand how the first Terminator movie could come across as being overhyped. And I wonder how many of those people are overhyping it because of Terminator 2 and not so much the movie in of itself. So I watched the first Terminator movie after I'd seen the third Terminator movie. The third Terminator movie was the first thing I'd ever seen, and I didn't understand it. I was, about 12 or so at the time, and then I watched the first Terminator movie, and I did really enjoy it, but the second one took everything to a whole new level. And I think the people that hype up Terminator 2 can sometimes overhype the first Terminator movie, which is good, but in my opinion, not to the same level as Terminator 2. So that is going to complete my responding to your comments video. That was for all of the videos that I uploaded for October 2023. I really appreciate it if you have stuck with me through to this point. Obviously this month, we're already into it. Apologise, this is a little bit later than usually. I normally try to get out on the first of the month, but yeah, this month is just had a bit of a hit to the start of it. Just made things a little bit trickier, and I've got a lot of videos this month that are taking a lot longer to be able to record and edit. Because obviously, when I do a reaction video, I basically record the footage. I transfer the footage onto my computer, and then I'll edit it. It takes me about 15 minutes, and then it's just waiting for it to export. With a lot of these ones I've got for this month for Doctor Who, things like my reviews and my rankings and stuff, especially the rankings, they will typically probably take me about 4 to 6 hours to basically record and edit. So much longer, so my time is a lot less restricted. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Once again, don't forget to send me more suggestions of stuff that you should check out. My schedule for this month is pretty much set in stone. Next month, of course, is going to be Christmas month, so it's all going to be Christmas-related stuff. So if you suggest any Christmas-based stuff, it may be next month. Otherwise, it probably won't be stuff until the new year at the earliest. So thank you so much for all your suggestions, all your comments, all your likes, all of the people that have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so already, then please do subscribe, turn on notifications, and smash this like button. And of course, don't forget to drop your comments below. But for today, my name's Kevin. I'm a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.